Hello and welcome to the Isocloser channel. This is a video that's probably different than any motorcycle video you've ever watched. I'm going to tell you what I did to use my tax returns to pay for not only both of my motorcycles, but my helmets, maintenance, and even a bike fest I went to. Motorcycling is a beautiful, exciting hobby, but how many of us know it is an expensive hobby? No matter what we tell our friends, no matter what we tell our parents, oh, I'm just gonna get one bike, or oh, I'm not gonna do any mods, I'm just gonna get the bike and just ride around the neighborhood for a little bit. We're gonna end up getting a different exhaust, different mirrors, mirror delete. We're gonna get different paint on the bike, different seat. There's so many different things, new visor for the helmet. There's so many things we want to do with our motorcycles, and that is perfectly fine, but the issue is most of us just lose that money once we buy those things, and those things don't make us any money. However, I found a way that we can actually get some money back from all those expenses we have, and it's something that the Jeff Bezoses of the world use, the Elon Musk of the world, and almost anyone who is very financially savvy uses. It's just the average people tend not to even get this information. How I came about this information is I bought my first motorcycle in 2021 for $5,000 cash. But a few months later, I actually ended up losing my job. I was unemployed for about 5 months, and in that time, I just took as much information in and researched as much as I could about how to make money, how to keep money, and how to grow money. I learned that how I considered motorcycles was all wrong. I had to consider motorcycling not as a hobby for me, but as a business. I know a lot of people get nervous when you say the B word, but it's really not something where you have to make money from it. I don't get paid to do YouTube. I don't get paid to do Instagram. I don't get paid to do anything. And I guarantee you, at least 70% of you have posted a picture of your motorcycle that you didn't get paid for, nor did you care about if you got paid for it. The point of using your motorcycles as a business is solely to help you afford the hobby without breaking the bank. I used TurboTax my first year and my second year of tax returns. Now, for those who do not know, I use tax write-offs, and what a tax write-off is essentially we all have a taxable income. If you have a W-2 job, maybe your salary is $50,000, or maybe you're a contractor and you make a certain amount a year and you have to pay taxes. Contractors probably will know this, but most W-2 employees never have to think about tax returns. So let's use that $50,000 if you're a W-2 employee, you have a salary, your taxable income, if you don't change anything, is $50,000. I bought a motorcycle for $5,000. Any other time, that $5,000 would just be gone. But if you mark yourself as self-employed, and the only way you can do this legally and feasibly and not have to worry about, even if you do get audited, the way that you know you're going to be good to go is one, you can talk to a professional. You should talk to a professional. I'm not a professional. This is just what I did. I have consulted professionals, but I suggest you do so as well, just so you know you're good with your money. But also, one, you need to keep records of all of your expenses. What I do is I have a Google spreadsheet. You can do it on Excel, or you can even do it in like a notepad or something like that. But I suggest you use a spreadsheet. It's very simple. It's also free in Google, I believe. You can put down the date in one column, and this is from January 1st to December 31st of whatever the tax year is. So for 2023, January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Date, then you put whatever the expense was. So it could be motorcycle tires, it could be the installation. If you're going to Sturgis for the bike show there and you're not riding, the airplane ticket there, your lodging is also an expense. All of that we're gonna write down. And then you're gonna write the payment method that you use. Now, you're not gonna put your whole credit card or anything like that. You're just gonna put enough that you will remember if you had to go look up the record where you could find it. So if you have a credit card, maybe just say like credit card at Marine Federal or something like that. And then you already have the date and you have the expense, so you're good to go. You can also put the transaction number. That's another thing that I found useful. Over this year, you're gonna have all of these expenses. This will also help you keep track of how much you're actually spending on your bike or whatever hobby that you want to do this with. Then, like I said, I use TurboTax. When I go in for income, I write, of course, the 50,000 W-2 salary I have, but then I also write that I'm self-employed. Now this will cost more in TurboTax, but I guarantee you the tax returns, if you have a lot of expenses, will more than pay for it because it's gonna help you pay for the bikes. My first year, like I said, I just put self-employed, and right where you have how much money you made and how much money you lost, it'll have expenses. That's where you put all of those expenses that we deducted. Now there is such thing as a standard deduction, but if you have an itemized deduction that is greater than $12,500, then you'll want to use that. But the standard deduction does cover up to about $12,000. So that's something that a lot of people probably are missing out on anyway. You have all of the expenses that we have taken on that spreadsheet. We're going to put in word for word, list for list into our self-employed expenses. That is going to help us with our tax return, and that is going to give you a bigger tax return. It may not be the first year, it may not be the second year, but by year 3 or 4, I noticed that not only was my stuff paid for because of the extra money that I was getting back by reducing my taxable income, but I was actually making a little bit money off of the bikes, even though I don't get money from YouTube. I don't get money for appearances or anything like that. Some people look at stuff like this as if they're sketchy, but we just don't get to learn about this. This is how billionaires are able to buy real estate and then take a loan out of that real estate and buy something else. And that whole time, like let's say if they made $2 million that year, they bought $1 million of real estate, they deduct that asset from how much money they made, to the point where sometimes the government will owe them money, so they'll have tax returns and credits for the next year. That's how these billionaires legally get away with not paying taxes. And us normal people, it just makes sense for us to also have a little side hustle, a little gig. And even if you're not trying to make money from it, you do your expense recording. And the second thing, you need to have a viable business reason. So I'm not asking you to go sell anything, or you don't even have to make YouTube videos. But if you're already posting on Facebook, already posting on Instagram, you don't even have to show your face. Don't show your license plate. Just maybe get like an Instagram handle, an anonymous Instagram handle, put it on your bike, and that's what you post Instagram videos or photos on. It doesn't have to be professional or anything like that, but that's your viable business thing. So if you do want to go to Sturgis, you take pictures at Sturgis, put it on your Instagram thing, and if the IRS does audit you, hey look, I was at Sturgis, I made content there, that's what my business was there, and I paid for the trip. Boom, you good to go. Like I said, this past year, I stepped up, so instead of just doing self-employed, I actually got an LLC for my motorcycles and my YouTube channel. And the camera that you're looking at me on is a tax write-off. The drone that you guys see me use will be a tax write-off. Again, the motorcycle is a tax write-off. I had to get a water pump, that's a tax write-off. Helmet, tax write-off. If I bought this chair, it would be a tax write-off because it's for the channel. You see what I'm saying? That's how powerful this is. The key to it is that we already would be spending this money. Why not use it to actually help pay for the things that we love spending the money on? It's such a simple thing. I have learned that every person probably should have an LLC for everything that they really like to do, that you spend money on. If you like going to the gym, if you post gym posts at all, I don't care if one person look at it and that is your mother and she did it on accident, tax write-off. Like you can get that membership paid for. And again, the tax code is very specific about what you can and can't do, and what you can do is extensive. For example, I can't write off my haircut because I use that for something outside of motorcycling, but if I get a motorcycle helmet, I'm not using that outside of motorcycling. $450 tax write-off. If I go to the Bike Fest and I have to fly there, $300 ticket there, $300 back, tax write-off, tax write-off. In 2022, you could write off the meals. I think they changed that a little bit, but in 2022, 50% of the meals are a tax write-off. So it's a very powerful tool. I hope for those who maybe never heard of this before, I hope you look at the links below. I'm gonna put the actual IRS links. I hope you learn from them. Listen to what I'm saying, but test it for yourself. Talk to an accountant. You can even have a meeting with, I think, financial advisors for free because they just really want your business at the end. So talk to someone about it. The goal of this video was to pique your interest, introduce you to something that maybe you never heard of before, and hopefully save a lot of my fellow riders or people who are interested in other expensive hobbies a whole lot of money and help your hobby pay for itself. I love you and God loves you. I'll see you in the next video.